I can't wait to play for you Mozart and His Sister, one of my favorite pieces in this level of the method. So this wonderful piece reads with these lyrics. Mozart and his sister traveled far and wide. When they played for the kings and queens, their papa would beam with pride. And remember, at the beginning of every level of the method, on page 2, it shows you which composers wrote which pieces. So for this particular piece, Kevin Olson wrote the music, and I gave him the lyrics. So here we have some fabulous illustrations, and students learn about Nannerl, who was Mozart's older sister, and of course we can tell them all about how the two of them went from country to country in Europe playing for the kings and queens. The musicality girl says, roll off the keys at the end of every slur. If the sound you make is quiet, then you are playing musically. So all the students are using is that basic drip, drop, roll motion that they've learned from the very beginning of the method to make such beautiful music out of those phrases. So we'll have the students circle the skips before they play. They can write slur next to the slurs and T next to the ties, which is also a review. And of course, tap it count out loud before they start to play. Two-note slurs are on page 16. Here they definitely are going to use the drip, drop, roll motion. So the words are fluffy, bunny, rabbits. Watch them eating carrots. So we want them to drop into their palm so that the first sound of the first note is louder than the second note. And in order to get a quieter second note, the students roll forward and off the keys. It's really important for students to play the second key and then roll forward. If they play while they are having a wrist in motion, they're going to get a hit. Do you hear that? But instead, have them drop, have them really focus on planning the next key, and then as soon as they play that next key and they listen to a quiet sound, then they roll forward and off. Let me do that again. Dropping. All right, they're getting ready to play the next key. Have them listen for the right sound before they actually play it. Oh, do you want that second sound to be quieter or louder? Oh, it has to be quieter. All right, so play the key and then roll forward and off the key. Move to the next E, drop, and then think about the sound you want to create. Play the next key and then roll forward and off. The left hand might be more difficult for students. We don't want to say difficult ever, just challenging. So have them think about what sound they want to create for the next note. And they play the next key and they roll forward and off. Think about the sound, play the next key, and roll forward and off. Think about the sound one more time. Play the key and roll forward and off. So you notice that students are playing with a free arm and strong fingers, no dents. And that's just a terrific way to get students to learn two-note slurs. And of course, two-note slurs are the mother of all artistry at the piano. And you can see a specific video on playing two-note slurs in my topic-specific videos for piano teachers. Cuckoo Crazy. This is by Kevin Olson, a wonderful piece for reviewing two-note slurs in the left hand. Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. Because the student can't play it fast in order to play it well. So it'd be a really good idea for them to block these thirds, then this 1 second interval, and then this third, and then down to bass C. All right, and then carefully for this two-note gesture. So you notice when students are learning succeeding at the piano, of course they can play any kind of music later on in life, but I am setting them up to learn classical repertoire because it's in the classical repertoire where so many of these minute details are so important. So the students learn them early so they can gravitate to classical music early on. But of course they can go to jazz and pop and bebop, whatever else they would love to do. So now on the next page is To the Zoo. Here the students are just reviewing a rhythmic pattern of quarter, rest, plus quarter note, half note. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So tap and count out loud, and where do you feel, or see, excuse me, the following patterns? So they can certainly circle all those patterns that are the same. The words, it's always fun to see tigers and chimpanzees. There's lots to do when we go to the zoo. Reptiles, zebras, alligators, and a kangaroo, as the students get louder and louder and louder. So you notice through discovery learning, I'm having them discover what it's like to make a crescendo before I actually teach them the symbol as well as the definition. It's great to be with you here at the zoo. The musicality girl asked, were the notes in the slurs legato, and did you count the quarter rests? Ah, what a great piece. Floating balloons is completely different than the vibrant To the Zoo. Floating balloons has to be very ethereal and quiet and calm and gentle. It said logo there, so I had to move back to the original register. And the student can play a beautiful tissue box at the end of that piece. So practice steps, which two lines are the same? Mark them with a check. So the first and third lines are exactly the same. So I'm teaching them form in a discovery learning fashion. And remember to use the drip, drop, roll motion that you know. So dropping, rolling, forward. Oh, I'm supposed to go with both hands. Right, another drop and a roll. Drop. The roll so that by the time the students are at the F, they can roll forward and off. Drop, roll, move hands together. Drop, roll. And your right hand only goes up. Conscious of, even though I'm dropping and my wrist is low, I'm still playing on that outside tip of my thumbnail, right? So I'm not playing on the flat side of my thumb, right? Because otherwise it'll just sound heavy, right? And the wrist gets locked and just not comfortable at all. All right, so now we are on for Unit 5.